Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Living Astrology with Janet Hickox. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back and relax, and let's chat about what is happening up in the stars above today. It is August 27th, Thursday. We are getting to the end of the month and getting ready to move into the month of September. I just can't even believe it. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. As you can tell, I still have my voice. Yesterday was a chat day. And honestly, this is how you can tell when you are talking about the right subject, because the next day or even during that time that you're talking, you don't lose your voice, right? So yesterday I did our morning show, then I did 2 follow-ups with people, and then I did a radio show in Australia on Mars retrograde, and then I did one later on the solar plexus mutation. Talk. I literally wasn't done until 8 o'clock my time last night. Very long day. But here I am this morning, back and ready. This is how you can tell you're in the right place, doing the right thing, right? When you could do it all day, all night, and still be energized about the subject or energized about your life. Doesn't mean I wasn't tired. Last night I was tired. I was like, oh, but this morning I'm back at it. So good morning to everybody. Let's say hi to Debbie Tibbetts-Tumiel. Hello. And Monique and Pauline. Good morning. And Joshua Nichols, good to see you. And Adrienne Jones and Mimi and Deborah Johnson. Hey, nice to see you out there. And on top of that, we have Asa. Hello, Loanne. Good morning to you. And everybody is looking like they're bright and shiny. I see beautiful little emojis. And that usually is a mood indicator, right? So everybody looks bright and shiny. And let's see, Jennifer Peachy, good morning. I've been listening to you all morning. The Angel Heart Radio shows were great. There's just something about the women in Angel Heart Radio. I mean, if I could broadcast my show all the time on their platform, I would. I don't know what would stop me from doing that, actually, but I hadn't really thought about doing that. But they're wonderful people. They're just full of heart, full of love, and I just love being on those shows. And Joshua says, watched yesterday late. I cut my finger Tuesday and needed 5 stitches. Forced to be home this week. Darn. Joshua, that's Mars, right? Mars, the edge of the knife, right? Cutting with metal. We've had 2, Debbie Tibbetts-Tumiel. They were in an automobile accident. I hope that you're doing better, Debbie, and I hope Rita's doing better. And then my husband had a big metal pipe fall onto his foot. He's doing fine. And here you are with a metal cut. This is all Mars energy, that masculine red planet that is slowing down at the moment and preparing to go retrograde, which was one of the subjects that we talked about last night, and how that might affect all of us, as a lot of accidents and so forth happen when Mars is doing something funky, because it is repressed energy, right? Or repressed anger, frustration, upset, and it comes out in ways that are sometimes can be pretty damaging. So we have to be wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. We have to keep track of what's going on. We have to remain aware and in our bodies. And if you're operating a vehicle, or if you are using a piece of equipment, if you are using a knife even, or scissors, watch, because it's easy to somehow cut yourself or get hurt. And it's not even just yourself that you have to worry about. For instance, in Debbie and Rita's instance, it was a woman in a car behind them, not noticing that people were stopped, and likely texting or chatting or whatever she was doing, losing sight of focus for a moment and just slamming into the back of them. So you can't control what other people are doing, but you can certainly minimize the effects by being prepared for yourself and being aware of your surroundings and all of that. So J-Lo, good morning. Your computer probably went into an update, and that's what happens to me sometimes. I'll open my computer in the morning and somehow it's just cleared out all of my cookies and all of my things. So I have to, it's like starting all over. So maybe that's what happened. Pauline, bit lost at later solar plexus mutation. Was there a talk before last night? Yes, there was, Pauline. And that talk was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But Anea told me last night that she was going to take the 2 talks and put them together on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page so that people could catch up. And then there's a third talk, right? The third talk, we're going to go actually into the chart itself, where we can see some of the changes that will happen in the energy centers. And that'll happen on September 9th for those of us in the US, and in Australia, that will be on September 10th. So coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to take it to the third level. And I hope that there isn't a fourth level. I didn't realize there was a third one until last night. So we'll see what happens. But it's an interesting topic, and it explains a lot about what's going on with the world, what's going on with us as individuals. I was talking to a friend this morning who said, her question was, what is Pluto doing? And I said, why? What? I go, Pluto is not doing anything different at the moment, but Mars is. And she goes, oh, there it is, right? She has been having trouble sleeping and waking up all times of the night. And that is likely a Mars issue, because Mars is the planet slowing down right now to turn retrograde. And when planets slow down, it creates sort of more difficulty in the matters that they relate to. And of course, it all depends in your own chart, what's being hit, where things are. So it might be different for you than it is for her, or different for me, where I lay down, I fall asleep, and I'm done, right? I'm out. I rarely have trouble sleeping, but sometimes it happens. So Josh had to avoid a hairstylist. My hairstylist is avoiding me. That's too funny. I've put in 2 calls and an email and still haven't heard back. So now I'm wondering if she's okay, because I need to get my locks cut. They're driving me crazy. Pauline, is there any truth to men are from Mars, women from Venus? Not anymore. We'll integrate masculine and feminine in one person. So, technically speaking, men are from Mars. I mean, the masculine energy is Mars energy. Venus energy is feminine energy. So when you're talking about the natural, without the gender roles, when you're talking about the natural energy of the masculine and the feminine, then of course that makes sense, right? But there are just as many men who have Venus prominent in their chart as there are women who have Mars prominent in their chart, and each will display either a balance of the masculine and feminine energies, or be maybe heavy on their opposite energy. And it just depends on, again, how that chart is set up. So there are no hard and fast rules, but technically speaking, we think of Mars as masculine and we think of Venus as feminine. And those are the energies that they present us, not necessarily the gender roles that they take on. So I hope that makes sense. Josh had to type without use of that finger. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Josh, okay, come on over to Washington and please cut my hair. Fly on out here, right? Asa says LOL at Josh. So I'm going to leave the back end here. Hello, Jackie Piccola. I just saw you out there. Hello, hello. Good to see you as well. And Asa, I'm going to leave this to you while I go into what is up for today, because as you know, it's Thursday, and that means I want to be able to get to some readings. So I have oracle cards. I have a new deck of oracle cards I'd love to play with, called the Dog Pack. And these are written by Leslie Zuber and Lori Ballantyne Tueller. They are, I wonder if they're sisters or sisters-in-law. They must be sisters because they both have the same maiden name, Ballantyne. And they created this beautiful deck. And thank you, Leslie, for sending them to me. And she's a listener. I think she's usually in the background. Sometimes I see her out there. And we're going to play with these cards today, the Dog Pack. And also, somebody in the academy the other day in the membership group was asking about angel cards. She wanted to know what deck to use. And that stopped me for a minute, because all of the angel decks I've ever used were by Doreen Virtue. Well, now I kind of feel like, as she changed her focus and went to the more, born again religion, Christian religion, that she's even in talks said that those cards were evil, etc. So now I'm kind of hesitant to use her cards, and I don't have another angel deck. And somebody suggested, Laura Hammer suggested, the Messages of Light by Michael Dugay, or Dugway. I'm not sure how you say his name. And these are cards that I had in my store. And so you see the little demo thing, because we demoed these Messages of Life and Messages of Light that are also very highly angelic sort of messages. So I'll have these available today as well, because I think they enter a higher level of angelic energy. And since we're letting go of that animal side of us over time here and becoming more angelic and more human, I think it might be good to use those angels today for readings. So in the meantime, let's talk about what is happening up in the stars. Today, the moon will turn into, well, it's in the void already at 5 a.m. my time. It moved into the void. It is in the void, of course, until 10:37 a.m. my time. So that's 1:37 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. And it is then a change out of the sign of Sagittarius and the moon moving into the sign of Capricorn. Now, before the void, which is happening even like as we speak, as I drew up the chart this morning, the moon was at 27 degrees of Sagittarius on top of the galactic center. So it's hard for me to believe that the moon is in void, even though it even it just seems funny because we think of it's hitting a planet as a reason to have a connection. I don't think that astrologers take into consideration the connection the moon makes to the void or to the galactic center. And so the moon is in void, technically speaking, but it's conjunct the galactic center. So emotionally, what are you picking up? What's the vibe that you might be able to absorb from the very powerful center of our universe? So right now, being able to pick up those messages is activated because we have the North Node sitting at the gate 12 in your human design, which is a gate of channeling, right? Or being able to connect to channeling energy. And yes, Asa, to her question, also cards or a reading, right? We can do cards or readings, charts. I didn't open my human design program, so I might have trouble getting to that one, but certainly astrology we could do. So the galactic center, the North Node at the gate 12, which enables all of us to receive those messages, to pick them up, to channel, to bring in the wisdom from super consciousness, I guess we could call that. So we all have that antenna open. So what's coming in? What's filtering into your awareness right now? And of course, the moon moves fairly quickly, so this will pass. It may have shown up in dreams last night. Oh, I had a wild dream last night, and I don't even want to think about it. But that may be a message that I can pass on to the person who was in my dream. We shall see how that turns out. And then as well, there could be other messages coming in through your emotional body. Now, the Capricorn moon later in the afternoon will trine the sun. So that is really good energy for getting things done, for being able to be productive. So the day in and of itself is productive as long as you have a goal or a plan of action, if you will. I do. I have a plan of action for today, all the way up through 2 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, it's open season. Up until that point, though, I have my plan, and I'm going to be following that plan, which is absolutely perfect for a Capricorn moon. Now, if we look at all the different places that we could talk about what might be emotionally being affected for you by the Capricorn moon, one would be future needs and security. There's this element of time that comes up in Capricorn. It's ruled by Saturn, Chronos in either Roman or Greek mythology. And Chronos was a word that meant time, timekeeper, time, sort of the meter of time, right? Things about time. So in Capricorn, we're dealing with old age, perhaps. We're dealing with what you need in the future to retire or to be comfortable in your older age. We're talking about maturity. So our future needs and based on security come up with the moon in Capricorn. So if you're you don't even have to be an older person to be thinking about retirement, right? Our economy is kind of wonky. So where are your investments? How are you set up for a sort of safety net for the future without going into fear, right? Without doing that. Being responsible, right? Responsibility is a Capricorn issue, self-discipline, being an adult, being a grown-up, right? Being responsible, keeping your commitments, and being competent in whatever it is that you do. It is demonstrating competence. This is the sign that in the natural zodiac rules the 10th house, the 10th house of profession and career and authority. So this is where you actually take what you've learned and you demonstrate it out in the world, right? Put it out into the world. You've studied whatever it is you've learned, you've gotten your certifications, whatever it is, and now you have to put it out there in the world, demonstrating what you've learned. And with that comes your reputation and your public image. That is also a Capricorn issue. Goals. Capricorn loves goals. That's also because of Saturn's rulership of the sign Capricorn. Ambition and defining your goals comes into play. Working toward a goal and or working toward an intention. If you don't like the word goal, sometimes goal just feels weird. So working toward an intention and being a professional, right? Being, and I don't mean a professional like you have to go get your PhD, but being professional in the way that you move through your world, that the way that you call up your authority and the way that you demonstrate your authenticity in the world, right? Success is also ruled by Capricorn. Interesting that Saturn rules success, right? I think a lot of times we give Saturn that bad rap, and we would certainly think of Saturn as in failures, but not in success, right? But here he is showing up as the ruler of Capricorn, bringing us accomplishments and recognition for the hard work that we've put in or the work that we've done, elevating our social status, maybe even, and achieving our goals, right? Having done the work, and part of the work is defining the goal, setting it up, ready to do it, then doing it, right? And then reaping the rewards after having done the work. Now, this might be something to do with your work. It could be something else. It could be, maybe whatever goals you might have, things that, we think of them as resolutions, right? We resolve to lose weight. We resolve to get healthy. We resolve to save money, whatever it is. Now is the time where you can look at the relative success of whatever it is that you have planned to do, your goals and your dreams, etc. Capricorn is also a sign about management. So following protocols and doing things the right way. Like if a job is worth doing, it's worth doing right. That sort of saying can be part of this. Being able to delegate, right? So that you're not having the burden of everything on your shoulders, that you're delegating responsibility and or that you're delegating things that other people can do, that you're not just, taking it all in and having to do it and causing chaos in your own life because you're too busy and you can't do it all. So delegating, being in charge, being respected and respectful. So the whole concept of self-respect and respect of others. Authority is also a part of the Capricorn energy, where we have fathers or higher ups, right? The bosses, the authority figures in our life. Traditions, also part of this experience. What in our traditions can we keep as we move forward? What in our traditions is no longer serving us? And of course, your reputation, also a part of this, right? That kind of goes without saying. Often people who have the black moon Lilith in Capricorn are always worried about their reputation. So they have to, that's one of those signs of people that have to really toe the line, right? They have to be very aware of how they show up in the outer world, because they'll get called to task on it and their reputation will suffer if they're not right on it. So if you have the black moon Lilith in Capricorn, that might be one of your fears, that your reputation is going to suffer, so that you're uber aware of how you show up in the world. And all you have to do is follow your true self. That's the part that is the easy part of that. But the fear is that you're not going to have a good reputation. And as always, there's the negative, right? There's that other side of the spectrum, right? The continuum goes from the positive to the neutral to the negative. And the more excessive control issues that come up with Capricorn are things like not finding joy in the work that you're doing, not finding joy in life in general, being too stern or too, serious. Being serious here is not necessarily a good thing, right? Fear of the new, holding on to the old so tightly. You can see that in the world right now, can't you? With all those planets in Capricorn, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Pallas Athena, holding on for dear life to the old paradigm, calling out people that are moving toward the new paradigm as something negative, holding a connotation that the new is bad, or the progressive is bad, when it's just literally the old holding on for dear life. There's a pessimism that can come up here in this sign, as well as inflexibility and judgment of all kinds, self-judgment and judgment of others, instead of being discerning. This is an earth sign, so discernment also comes up here, as well as it does in Virgo, as well as it does in Taurus, maybe just in different ways. So in the body, the moon in Capricorn would rule your bones, the joints, all of your connective tissues, and arthritis and rheumatisms are a part of that. If you're suffering from those kind of things, right? Arthritis typically is something that is due to aging. Aging is a part of a Capricorn and Saturn experience. It also has rulership over the gallbladder, gallstones, the knees, skin. And I never see this written in my moon books, but your teeth also Saturn ruled, right? They hold up the face. And so the teeth might have also an Aries connotation, but mostly it is structure and form. And that is Saturn and Capricorn's rulership. All right. Questions, comments. How's everybody doing out there, Asa? Show this message. J-Lo says, please take a moment and hit the like button. I love you guys. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the video, and also share this with your friends. Subscribe down below. You probably need to wait until the live is over to be able to do that. And then also you can hit the little bell and it will notify you when I am coming on live. And thank you very much for that. Leilani, hello again. That's where this pressure to succeed must be coming from. Last night, I couldn't stop thinking about finances that I didn't even need to worry about. Leilani, do you have a human design chart? I would love for you to get that, because human design open centers. So the centers that you have open are places where you're taking in the energy from the world, from the people around you, and then that gets amplified within you and then rebroadcasted. And sometimes you believe yourself to be worried about finances, and you're like, why am I worried about that right now? There's nothing pressing. So you can go to my website at living-astrology.com and order your free chart. And it comes with a little mini report, and that might help to answer some of those questions. Natasha, good morning. She says, when we have cards, they become ours and our intentions. And please, if I can suggest, cut the cords to how the something starts, as we are the connection to those angels and cards. I still feel like she had very much imbued those cards with negative energy, so I'm not going to play with them. I leave them here, though. They're sitting there. But I'm looking now for maybe a new deck of angel cards. I'm going to check Colette Baron Reed. I'm not sure if she has a deck of angel cards. Debbie, you might know, because you know more about her. So Joshua says, I have 1222 connected in my human design. Can it intensify with transit at the gates? Yes, it is already in focus for you, right? That because it's defined. So it's not necessarily bringing out like stronger energy, but it just calls it into attention. It's like if I were to look at the chart, something would catch my attention. Well, that's kind of right now your attention is being called to that 1222, because right now there are planets sitting there as well. Neptune at 22 and the North Node at 12. So that energy might be different planets than what it is in your own natal chart. So it calls your attention to those planets that are now completing that channel. Does that make sense, Joshua? Like, for instance, I have the sun sitting at the gate 12, nothing at 22. So right now that channel is completed because of Neptune. But also now that the North Node is sitting at 12, it's also focusing me on my destiny in some ways, right? So now I got to look at 12 and how that's playing into my natural destiny, which couldn't even tell you what gate that's at. How funny is that? I think it's at 29, but I'm not sure. So right now it does put more emphasis on it because it's likely different planetary energy that's lighting it up. So I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. Courtney, good morning. I'd love a peek at my chart if there's time. I will take names and so forth. Asa, bless you, my darling. Could you please start taking people's names and what they might want as far as a card reading or an astrology reading? And if you all want, if you're wanting an astrology reading, would you please type in there what it is that you want me to focus on? That way it takes less time for me to get to the heart of the matter, and or what's worrying you or what has you concerned enough to want to look at your chart. And so then Asa, you can get me that information. And J-Lo also saying the same. Jules, good morning, everybody. And Puffing Pixie, Kyle Gray of Hay House has angel decks. Oh, good, as well as Ascended Masters. I don't know who Kyle Gray is. I'm going to write his name down and I will check him out later, mostly because that's a name I don't know. So I would go to look for. Jules says, may I also get a card for today? Your pick. All right, good. So Asa, hopefully you can make that list for me. And let's do the Pleiadian Earth energy of the day because that's next. Today is sorry, got to get back to my Zoom. Today is 2 transcending energy. So yesterday we began our new 13-day week and our umbrella energy now is moving. So the moving energy is about change. It's about broadening your horizons. It's about seeing all points of view. It's a completely different energy than what choosing was 13 days prior. So we have a new energy that is our umbrella energy. And today we move into the 2 of transcending, which is about duality and about the movement through something or the letting go of something. So in duality in the Pleiadian Earth energy is about how we have, how unity from one, the energy of one or oneness split and became 2, became duality. There was a purpose in that. It wasn't to make us divided. It wasn't to separate us. It was for expansion purposes, right? For expansion purposes. So in order to branch out, if you will, and to be able to experience things greater than just what oneness would imply. So it isn't a negative connotation at all. When we think of duality, I think right now we have this idea of being of 2 minds or of being in separation or division or polarization. But all of that is the negative expression that's occurred because of our misuse of the energy of 2. Right? Instead of using the energy of 2 in order to see in the mirror or to see how opposites attract or to be able to see other sides of issues, we used it as a way to separate us, to make us feel better maybe than the other, black versus white or up versus down or in versus out. USA versus Russia or USA versus China. I mean, we've used it in all kinds of ways to be separate instead of learning how to use it to value different viewpoints or different alternative ways of being. So we have this opportunity to correct that on a 2-day, right? It's the opportunity for us to see alternate viewpoints as just another piece of the tapestry of who we all are together here in oneness, right? If we're in oneness, it was difficult to see all the individual parts. So it divided, it split, right? So now our purpose is to facilitate expansion, not to keep it in separation, right? It's not to be separatist. It's about being just excited about the differences, right? How boring is it to do the same thing every day over and over and over? So think about that. Without duality, we wouldn't have the differences, the different colors, right? Without the prismatic energy, we would never have split black into colors or white into other colors. It just wouldn't happen. So we have good reason to engage the energy of duality and to see how it is we're using that duality in our own life. Are we using it as a way to keep ourselves separate from someone or from another thing? Or are we using it as a way to just see more roundly what is going on in the world? So we have that opportunity here today. Transcending energy in the Mayan calendar was Kimi, spelled C-I-M-I, and it was a sign of transcendence. And it sort of sometimes represented a death mask, and at other times it was sort of an owl. It just really represented that life, that of transcending, right? Death and rebirth also coming into this. This is a great sign for goal setting. Sounds familiar, right? We have another sort of connection to our moon in Capricorn later today. And this is a great sign for manifesting ideals. Ideals in, in the ideal world, what would you be? Who could you be? What would you do? How would you do that? And letting that be a goal that you set to be created. Letting go of old grievances. This is a baggage release day, right? It is about just shedding it all. What doesn't work, what you don't believe about yourself anymore, just letting it all roll off your shoulders. Discernment is key here as opposed to judgment, discerning what feels good to you, what is right for you, and what isn't right for you, not as a way of judging a person or their actions or their activities, but just as what's right for you, right? What is correct for you, discernment. So that is our day in the Pleiadian Earth energy. And now I'm going to start looking here at, so Londa is on the, okay, so Londa, how do I get on your Zoom or ask questions? You'll have to, I don't know if you can hear me, Londa, and I can't type to you right now, but if you can hear me, the way you would get in to ask questions is to sign into your own Gmail account. And from there, then you would be able to access YouTube. You'll be signed in, as it were, to be able to ask questions and so forth. So, or if you're hearing me and you don't have a Gmail account to sign in with, you can type your questions in my text that you're doing, and I'll read it and bring it up from there. Okay, so Asa says we have cards. Debbie Dog, Debbie, must be Debbie Tippett's Tumiel because she's a dog lover. And so I'm going to put dogs. And why will that not stay on? Deb Johnson, also dogs. So the Debbies are into the dogs today. I love it. I want to play with the dogs, so this is good. And then Jackie Piccola, is that the one? Dog. And I think I got the questions. And then, so let's do cards first. And Jackie, also dog. And then we'll do readings, okay? Or do charts for people. So let's play with our dogs. So Debbie Tippett's Tumiel, this is for you. And it has a cute little booklet that comes with it. It's called The Dog Pack by Leslie Ballantyne Zuber and Laura Ballantyne Tueller. I probably butchered that name, but all right. So Debbie Tippett's Tumiel, this is for you. It'll be funny if I pull a card about a dog that's the breed that you have. That would be kind of funny. I'm going to mix them up really well, even though I played with them the other night. And oh my gosh, this is the same card that I pulled for myself the first time I played with them, Debbie. It is the Saint Bernard, totally different from your little guys. The Saint Bernard represents ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. Look at that. Look at that face. Oh, even his slobbery wonderfulness. So Saint Bernard, ancient wisdom. Funny, I just opened up the deck right to that, or the book. It says, this is a benevolent energy full of intuition and vision. You might be called upon to channel information and may be receiving guidance from your deceased loved ones. Genealogy might be something you are drawn to, so listen to these promptings and trust your intuition. Gut feelings are there for a reason, and your sixth sense will become more developed the more you follow it. When you do this, you will learn to completely trust the information you receive and will have the opportunity to help others because of it. This is a time of healing and letting go of old belief systems. St. Bernard advice, meditation will assist your intuition and guidance. And healing, apparently, as well, something that you and Rita really need at this point in time. So, St. Bernard. That's funny because Debbie has little dogs, little guys. And whoa, this is for you, Deb Johnson. You got Poodle. Have you been too serious in your life, Debbie? Have you been too serious of late? Because Poodle says party girl, right? Poodle. So let's look at Poodle, party girl. Poodle. Are these in? Oh, they are in alphabetical order. Good. So we have, you are elegant, dignified, good-natured, highly intelligent, and love being around other people. Others are mystified by your self-assured confidence, which is neither arrogant nor pushy. Your balanced energy at play and work is a beautiful thing to behold. The people you meet at this time through networking will be a great support and connection for you. It's important for you to look nice and be put together, so do just that. Get out of the house and go have some fun. Poodle's advice, it's possible to have it all and look good doing it. So maybe it's time for a haircut for you, or a facial, pedicure, manicure. Be more playful, right? Get out into the world. Okay, so that was for you, Debbie Johnson. Jackie, this is for you. And I'm assuming Jackie P and not J-Lo. Okay. All right, I'll go back and look in a minute, Asa. Thank you. So this is for Jackie. Jackie, Irish setter. And Irish setter says love, an Irish setter. Beautiful dogs. They're all beautiful. I just love animals. There we go. Irish setter. Let's see what that message is all about. I comes after G. Irish setter represents love. So you are faced with an important decision right now regarding love. It is bringing up fears around commitment, intimacy, and rejection. It may even be causing conflict. Remember that love does not hurt and is not painful. It is our own inadequacies that manifest in our close relationships, giving us the opportunity to look at ourselves honestly. Only in these love relationships do we have the opportunity to transcend, great word, our misconceptions of who we are. The universe works through mirroring to show us ourselves. It takes courage to look at our shadow self, so be open and unafraid. Once you do, you'll be amazed at the love you feel for yourself and therefore your partner. Love has the energy of giving and receiving from the heart, thinking of the other and becoming one. This is your opportunity to really look at yourself through the eyes of love with your partner. Irish setter advice, you had me at hello. That's cute. You had me at hello. Jerry Maguire. It's a source of a lot of really cool sayings. Okay. So I'm out of readings. I had 3 there. So Jackie P. Awesome. J-Lo wants you to look at her human design. I will attempt to do that, J-Lo. I didn't open up that program, and sometimes in Zoom I can't do that if I'm recording. So we'll see if I can get to it. So I think I've got the list. I've done the readings that people wanted. So now Loanne wants me to look at the 7th house in her astrology chart. And let's do that, Loanne, and see what's up there. And hold on one moment while I get the chart prepared. And Loanne, I can't remember your last name. Is it Hall? I'm going to check an H first. See if it's there. See if my memory is serving me. Oh my God, I'm good sometimes. Loanne Hall, there you are. So I'm going to look at a transit chart rather than just your birth chart, because I'm guessing maybe you're feeling there's some pressure there or something. So as soon as I pull that chart up, I'm going to share it on the screen so then everybody can see and follow along. And sharing the screen now. Okay, so Loanne, let me make this just a titch bigger so that everybody can see it well. So I can see it well. Okay, so looking at your 7th house. So the 7th house is the house of relationship. It is the house of partnerships, right? So it can be business partnerships, it can be marriage, it can be committed partnerships. The key to the 7th house is that we're sharing space, maybe we're sharing resources, we're intermingled, right? So it's hard to tell one from the other because you're in a partnership. Now, in your chart by birth, you have the galactic center here. So my guess is that you have embraced, or you are embodying in your life, some new form of relationship. Now you've got a full 5th house here. So I want to speak to that first if I can. I know you said 7th, but let's look at the 5th house because this is the house of love and romance. And love and romance is usually what? The precursor to a committed relationship, right? There's the dating, there's the getting to know one another. There's a lot of energy around that. And for you, you have Jupiter, Pluto, Uranus, South Node, and the Sun all in this fifth house and in two different signs, part Virgo and part Libra. So there seems to be a lot of need to work with love and romance in your life. That I don't know if maybe you've gotten sort of away from that. Somehow you've walled yourself off, or you had a lot of boundaries. Maybe in your life you were all out there and all embracing love and romance, but never quite found the one, right? The one. And those seem to be the lessons that you're looking at. In your fifth house, you also have Libra, which is the relationship sign. So there's where you have your sun, and there's where you have the South Node, and there's where you have Uranus. So relationships are already highlighted in this lifetime. Some of the biggest teaching and learning lessons for you in this lifetime are going to come through Libra. Now let's look at what's happening here on the dividing line to your seventh house, which is called the descendant. Right there, it's in Sagittarius. So not only are you wanting to meet somebody in a heart level, right, or on a love level, on a romantic level, you also have to be with someone who likes adventure or who is more outward in the world, more extroverted, let's say, kind of that adventurous soul. Someone like that, though, is often maybe not as committed and in the same way that you might like to be committed. So there's a split going on here for you in that seventh house between what love and romance brings to you and versus what kind of committed partnerships you have. So that energy of Sagittarius needing that person that is open-minded, that's, big-hearted, generous, adventurous, but someone like that sometimes doesn't make the commitment, doesn't want to settle down, or is even in your own self, maybe it's you that have kind of issues around settling down. So your seventh house, it looks empty, right? To me, if you looked at your seventh house and go, there's nothing in it, it still has a ruling planet, and its ruler is Jupiter. And if we look over here again, Jupiter was in your fifth house of love and romance in the sign of Virgo. So I think there's a bit here of needing to crack open your heart just to be in love with love. And I know you must be some sort of adventurer, because one day you and I were having a text conversation and you were floating down one of the rivers in Oregon. Might have been the Rogue River for all I know, but you were you were out in the world floating down a river. So I know that you have an adventurous soul, so maybe someone that has that kind of a matching energy, but who is also loving, maybe a Libra that has a Sag rising or something like that would be kind of fun for you. So I'm not sure if that was your question, Loanne. If you want to put in some comments here and let me know what more about what it is you wanted to see in your 12th house or seventh house, not 12th. And, we can go from there. And Pauline wants a dog card as well. Pauline, I will do that next after I do, who was it, J-Lo, that Josh wants a dog card too. I love it. Oh, and you know what? I didn't ask Leslie how you get her cards. So let me find that out for everybody today, and I'll post that on the Facebook page and let you know how to get those. Josh wants a dog card. Jules wants a card, my pick. But what I need to get back to, Asa, is who else wanted a reading? Amy, an astro chart. She's curious about the sun. It's about to cross her ascendant. There we got. Okay, so I think I'm caught up. J-Lo wants me to look at her HD chart. HD J-Lo. Let me see if I can get to that J-Lo somehow. I'm not sure that it's going to let me. If I can move this over. Oh, I can. Yes. Okay. So let me stop sharing the screen. Maybe that's how it allowed me to do that. So J-Lo, let me look at, as soon as this opens, I'll pull up your chart. Lopez. Jacqueline. Okay, so let me go back to Zoom and share the chart with everybody. And J-Lo, what was your question about your human design chart? This manifesting generator with splenic awareness, a 1-3 profile, investigating martyr. Don't get bogged down in those words. It just means you like to experience things, but also you like to investigate them before you go out and experience them. J-Lo or Asa, somebody find out from J-Lo what she wants to look at. In the short term, what I'll look at this is that you right now have the North Node completing your channel 12 to 22. And that is because we have the North Node right now transiting the 12. So if I had a little, no, I didn't mean to stop sharing. Sorry. I wanted to see if I could annotate this and fill this in with black because it's just a transiting. Ooh, there we go. Janet, you are so good. There you have it, right? You have now the North Node sitting at the gate 12, completing the whole channel of openness. Now, this is a channel that's based in emotional energy, which we know of as moods. So if you're feeling kind of up and down and moody, or maybe you have this wave going on where you're up 1 minute and you maybe are high and then it drops down, that would be because of the planetary energy that is sitting here. So right now with North Node, we are sort of being tasked to move forward in our life in some way. Are you being asked to move forward in your destiny? And part of your destiny means learning when to use your voice correctly, right? This makes another connection to your throat center. You have the gate 16, you can speak with enthusiasm, right? That's there. You have the gate 20 here, you can speak with grace and charm. Or power. Power is the main issue here, the voice coming directly from the sacral and up to the throat, power. And now you're maybe supposed to tap into what's coming in from the super consciousness where you don't know where is that coming from, where's that information coming from, but still needing to speak it powerfully. The problem is this is sort of vacillating energy. It's up and down. You can't quite get a good read on what you have to get a good read on what you're feeling before you use your voice. But when you use your voice, people will listen, and it will be the voice of super consciousness, perhaps right now, as you move further and further towards your destiny. And by the way, your destiny, your North Node, personally is sitting at the gate 34. It is organizing your energy, your vitality, your life force, sustainably directed at empowering others. And now it almost sounds like you being a coach or a cheerleader for someone or for a cause even. And then the gate 12 allowing you information to come in right now on a straight course. And okay. So Asa says the best gates to study for JLo. Well, I would always recommend this for anybody. Start with the top 4. Let me stop the annotation here. How do I do that? Exit. There we go. So for you, JLo, the 27 and the 28, really understanding the sun and the earth combination here and the sun and the earth combination here, because that makes up your incarnation cross, right? And I know your incarnation cross probably has some kind of funky name to it, which can just get people bogged down into what does that mean? So it's kind of like don't get lost in the words, just go to the energies here. So, you really have this energy of nurturing, right? And nurturing and creating purpose. But then you also have imagination and leadership over here. So that sounds like really stepping out somehow into the world and being a voice of something, right? Being a power broker, if you will, helping to empower others, nurturing others. Maybe even teaching. The gate 27 loves to teach. It loves to share. The gate 28 can get bogged down into purposelessness. So you have to find a purpose and you have to live from that purpose. The 41 and the 31, here's the 41 down here. This is the gate of imagination and creativity. It actually begins the human design year. It is the first gate that we come to in the human design year. So on New Year's Day, according to human design, which is around January 22nd or 23rd, the sun moves to the gate 41. So the fact that you have that energy, it's the impulse energy that moves from imagination out into the world. But if it only stays up here in your head, then you're not fulfilling the leadership capability here for yourself at the gate 31. So that's what I would look at. Plus, I would look at anything right now in your chart that's drawing your attention. Look at your chart. There's got to be something as you look at it that you go, what is that about? And if you have that kind of feeling, then go to that gate and study that gate and what it means for you. Even if it's an open gate, it doesn't matter if it's open, it doesn't matter if it's defined. If you look at the defined gate, you know, of course, that's a part of who you are, what you're broadcasting. But maybe the open gate is showing you something about what it is you're taking in and acting from unconsciously or in a conditioned response. So either way, it can really be helpful to A, study those first four, or B, go into a position of just looking at the chart and seeing what's calling you to it, right? That's how I always do it. And I have had times where I've gone to an open center and I've looked at that open center, or I've looked at a gate that's hanging off that open center to get a read on what it means for me. So doing that can bring benefit. So hopefully that answers that question for you. I think it was Pauline, while I'm in the human design, doesn't want a dog card, but she wants a PhD. Okay, so let's see, Pauline, I need to remember what your last name was. I think it started with an S. SS. So I'm going to go to my S's and look there. Oh, I'm so bad sometimes. Pauline. Oh gosh. Nope, that's not it. Pauline, you may have to tell me what your last name was. I'm sorry. I just don't know. Actually, let me look up here because I just did a chart for you not too long ago. Blenner. Oh, it's B. So I put you under B, perhaps. B for Blenner. There you are. Okay. Would you verify this is you, Pauline, at born on December 19th, 1960? You are an emotional generator with a 6-3 profile. Awesome. Thanks, Asa. My little hint, this is why everybody who requests a chart goes in this booklet, so I can find you eventually just by looking. So Pauline, what is your question about your human design? Give me a little bit of info about what it is that you want to look at. And yeah, because I don't see. And Amy, I will get to your astrology chart as well. Okay, so Pauline, let's just see what I think right now. First of all, let me hit the eraser. Okay. So Pauline, as I look at your chart right now, you are also very similar in aspect to J-Lo, because right now you also have, well, I guess everybody's going to have this, so it's not all that weird, but I'm going to use red in this case because right now the planet Neptune is sitting at the gate 22. And so for you, there's a spiritual, emotional connection that you need to pay attention to, being open and open-hearted, open-minded, which is more difficult for you because you have this defined head in Ajna. So people that have a defined head and defined Ajna are very much in the mind. So we could say that you're very mind-oriented and also very experiential based on your profile. So the mind here is taking and broadcasting information outward toward other. It has certainty. It means that whatever it is that you take in, you really believe, and you might often go to your head for advice or for thinking thoughts. Thinking thoughts comes natural to you, and that a lot of times you're getting creative inspiration and ideas that come up from that space. But the head is not the area of the chart where you need to make decisions from. So if you're often finding yourself in your head doing the comparing, contrasting, analysis, paralysis kind of thing, you need to get down into your body because it is your emotional center where you are guided to make the best decisions, where your authority is. Right here, you see your inner authority is emotional solar plexus. And right now you have an additional channel connecting that solar plexus to your throat center via Neptune sitting at the gate 22. So I'd say there's probably housed within you a lot of spiritual wisdom and wanting to share that wisdom without the mind's interference. So right now, maybe that is something you can focus on. What is it that I want to share with the world? What is my message to the world? And it doesn't necessarily have to be spoken in a formalized way, like me coming on air here in the morning. It might be something that you write. It might be something that you speak in a small group of people, maybe to your women friends, maybe to your family members. Maybe it's one-on-one. Maybe you see clients one-on-one. But right now, you are also gaining easy access to the Galactic Center or to super consciousness and able to bring in wisdom from on high, if you will. And that's all she said. Okay, so all right. So I don't know, Pauline, what else you might have wanted to look at here, but my big information for you would be about this center right here, because the emotional center is your authority. And if you'll remember, well, maybe you weren't with us then, Pauline. I did a series on authority in human design, and we talked about the solar plexus. And when people have the solar plexus defined, they're designed to make decisions slowly with clarity over time. And that clarity comes from the emotions. How do I feel? And rather than asking open-ended questions, which are likely going to put you right back up here in your head, you need to ask questions like, does this feel good? Does this make me happy? Does this feel correct for me? Do I feel joy when I think about doing this? Anything that you can answer with yes or no is the way that you want to ask yourself questions when you're seeking clarity. But the emotions have a wave, right? And we don't know, where did we enter into this decision-making process in that wave? If we're doing this from on high, then we may find ourselves saying yes to too much. And that's also a problem for you because you have the gate 29 defined. You have to be sure that you commit to the right things, right? The right things, the things that are correct for you. Not everything is correct for you. So first, as a generator, you respond to what is coming up in your outer world, not what comes up from your mind, not what you're inspired to do from prayer or meditation or an idea or an inspiration. No, no, no. You may be very tempted to do that, but wait until you have emotional clarity about whether response is right for you, correct for you, or feels good for you. And that comes over time. I hope that makes sense, right? You are not designed to be spontaneous. No matter how much you want to be, no matter how much you think you are spontaneous, you are not designed to be that way. You have a lot of energy because if you look at this, your chart here, you see you have 4 motors all defined, right? So you have a lot of vitality. You have a lot of ego and will energy, that energy of drive and endurance and perseverance. You are able to manage stress well because you have that impulse to do, and you also have emotional energy. So, but all of that sits on an open throat. Right now, the throat is defined because of the connection from the Neptune down here at 22. So remembering, before you say anything, ever, you wait for the invitation, right? You wait for someone to recognize you and say, Pauline, I want to hear what you have to say. And it's funny because there have been a couple of times I've gotten emails from you. You missed my question. You didn't see what I said. And that I should have known you had an open throat then, because it is people that think that they are going unnoticed, and then they try to call attention to themselves. I have the same setup in my chart, 4 motors defined, all this energy that I want to put out there, and then using the voice incorrectly. So waiting for the invitation to be invited in and to use your voice to be able to speak. And then when you do that, you are heard, valued, recognized, given all of the attention that you need. I hope all of that makes sense for you. Sort of disjointed. I know I went around in a lot of different things. For you, you might want to have a full human design reading just to get really clear about this open throat. It is the only open center that you have. So it is the source of a lot of the mistaken motivations that you have in your life and the problems that might be developed in your life over time. All right, I hope that makes sense. Clear out these lines and see what came next. Hey, go away. And you go away. There we go. Okay, so Asa, who do I have next? Okay, so Amy, I feel like I missed somebody in between. Let's do a couple of card readings and then I'll go back to charts. It's after 9 already. How did that happen? Oh my goodness. So I'm going to do some quick readings. I have an appointment at 9:30 or 10. I can't remember which this morning. Asa, what time are we on together? At 9:30. So I only have a couple more minutes. So Pauline, I hope that answered your questions. Josh and Jules, I'm going to give you a card reading real quick. This is for you, Josh. And Jack Russell Terrier, fearlessness. I love it. Let me stop sharing this chart so you guys can see. There we go. Here's the card, the Jack Russell Terrier. I attracted one to my life once. We named him Zeus, and fearlessness, Jack Russell Terrier. HIJ. All right, so Josh, let's see what this means for you. Your energy is endless and you thrive on a high level of physical activity right now, which supports good health and longevity. Exercise is like an antidepressant to you, and without it, you can become moody. Mental stimulation is also paramount in keeping you feeling grounded and stable. Your greatest attribute is your fearless nature, and if not kept in check, can get you into trouble. You're very vocal and have no problem speaking your mind, which can be hurtful if you're not careful. The combination of these two characteristics can be a recipe for disaster, but on the other hand, they can offer you limitless possibilities if harnessed and focused in a positive direction. The Jack Russell advice, I just can't get any respect. I don't think that's your problem, Josh. I think that you command respect. And I think that as long as you align yourself more with your human design, you will find yourself fearless and powerfully in command of your own life and your own destiny. I feel like that from my bones. Julie, this is for you. Amy, and there was someone else that wanted me to take a look at their chart. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. We'll fit it in as much as we can. Jules, you get Shetland Sheepdog Networker. Shetland Sheepdog. Say that 10 times fast. And let's see what that means. Shetland Sheepdog. And it is networker energy, and it says networking and connecting others together is the gift that comes naturally to you. Your sense of what people do well, even when they don't see it in themselves, is your niche. You are able to see someone's potential and help them manifest their talents by connecting them with the right people. Others listen to you and trust your opinion. You have a natural ability to sense opportunities for them and to make things happen. Your energy is electric when you do what you love. Get yourself out there and share your gifts with those you meet. The Sheltie advice is your friends are some of the luckiest in the world, likely because they have you in their lives. All right, guys, that is it for me this morning. Let me take a last look over here at comments. If they're going by too fast, I cannot tell. Josh says, I agree. You're welcome, Pauline. So I'm not sure. Pauline never checked, was just looking. I'm not sure what that question was. Maybe you guys can bring questions tomorrow, and we'll find out what else I can answer for everybody. What mischief can we get into tomorrow? All right, guys, take care. I hope you have a blessed day. See you tomorrow.